this morning and last night where I was literally spiraling. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so down on myself. Not because I'm disappointed. I know I did my best. I I know I'm kind to myself. I wasn't being mean to myself. But I was just down. Like, I was just sad because I was like, oh my gosh, like these just didn't come out the way I really, really wanted them to. And there was just nothing I didn't know. There was nothing I could have done because I didn't know what to expect. You don't know what you don't know. Hello. Today I want to talk about the gap between where you are versus where you want to be. And I've been having some trouble with that recently, and that I'm taking photography a little bit more seriously. I was spiraling a little bit last night and kind of this morning because now that I'm kind of taking photography more seriously as a hobby compared to other things I've picked up before in the past, I found that I tend to have very high expectations just because I consume a lot of content that I love. And so typically when I'm taking photos, I have a very good idea of what I want my photos to feel like, what I want videos to feel like, to look like, or sort of like the essence I want it to have. And I'm finding now that there's this frustration that I'm sure maybe a lot of creative people face multiple times during their creativity journey is my skill level isn't matching my vision or my brain or like what my brain wants to see. So I guess for some context, yesterday I was very fortunate and very lucky to have the opportunity to take photos at my job for an event for Juneteenth. I helped co-host a Juneteenth event with coworkers, and I didn't really realize that I was co-hosting because it didn't really strike me. I thought I was just kind of like contributing and helping out. But while we were setting up and as the day was progressing towards the end of the day, I found myself that I was actually co-hosting an event. And it, it was overwhelming because I was also like photographing it because I offered to bring my camera because my new Fujifilm camera came in finally many weeks ago. So I've been playing around and having a lot of fun playing with that camera. So there she is, the x-e3. So yeah, I brought the camera to the event yesterday after work, and I wanted to take photos because I want to practice, and the best way to practice is to keep shooting and carry it with me as often as I can. So I've been carrying this camera with me almost every day, just trying to take pictures of literally anything that catches my eye when I'm walking to work, when I'm walking home, when I'm walking anywhere outside. I just want to like get comfortable with the settings and lighting and just mastering the art of sunlight and using lighting really well and just like capturing colors in different ways. So just practicing a lot of, I guess, photography principles or styles and whatnot. So I've just been playing around with the camera. So I wanted to bring it for the event so I could keep practicing, and I wanted to capture moments. I love capturing people having a good time, smiling, being together, happy. So I thought it would be perfect. And I was juggling trying to take pictures where it felt natural and in the moment, and I was trying to get people to pose and like do that. And I was also co-hosting, so I was also trying, like, I didn't realize it, but I also was trying to talk to people and like meet new people because a lot of the people who showed up to the event I hadn't really met before. So it was also like networking, and a lot of like managers and team leads and like bigger people were there, and coworkers I hadn't seen in a while. And I was handling our raffle tickets and just making sure things were like okay. And the my other coworker who I was like working with, I could tell she was really overwhelmed and stressed. So I think naturally in those situations, I tend to just kind of jump in and kind of carry the vibe and try to conduct the energy. So I had a lot of like, I was trying to just make sure the energy was okay. So making sure people felt good, felt included, and just talking to people who I knew and felt comfortable with. And also remembering names because that's not a strong strength of mine. So I have a hard time remembering names. And there were moments where I kept seeing people and I was like, oh, I forgot your name. And then obviously I wanted to take photos. So I had to like keep thinking like, oh, what's a good photo moment? that felt natural and like I was capturing the essence of this moment. And I found myself under the sunlight, and I hadn't really thought about it too much. I kind of went into it thinking, okay, cool, like I'm just going to use the settings I've been using that has been working for me when I'm walking and just taking normal stylized photos in the streets. And I have my own little settings going on that I've been playing with. And I didn't think too much about it. I was like, it should work, you know? It did not really work. The sun wasn't something that was on my mind. And it ended up kind of stressing me out because I didn't really know, and things were happening so fast. Because I think I have so much respect for people who photograph events because you have to really consider so many things. And like amongst what I said prior, also considering like in what direction the sun is coming in and what's going to look the most flattering in a split second when you're gathering people for a photo and like you're taking photos of stuff. Because oftentimes, like if I notice a moment, I want to like I don't have time to fiddle with settings or figure out what looks good. And, you know, there were times where I had a group photo that I was taking a photo of and I was panicking because it didn't look exposed correctly. It looked either too dark or way too blown out. And I was panicking and I just started switching autos to hopefully something would make it look pretty decent. And it was really stressful because you know, if I didn't capture that moment in that second, am I really going to have another chance? Because, I mean, it's awkward to like keep telling people to come back to redo it just because I can't really figure out my camera. So I think that was a big learning curve that I discovered for the first time yesterday because I kind of didn't expect it to be as challenging as it was. I thought it was just going to be like hee hee ha ha silly, just taking photos and it's going to be okay. But it was a big learning experience, and after the event I felt really down on myself because I was like, damn, like, you know, I'm not there yet at a level of my skills where I feel confident with the settings and like knowing exactly like where to stand in a given moment in accordance to the sunlight to make sure that people have like that beautiful, dreamy, filmy glow that's like nicely colored, and it's just nicely exposed, like nice little like a little bit over, like there's a look that I like, you know, there's like a look, a flavor, a style that I love, which I feel lucky that I know that about myself. Like I know what look I want. But the hard part with knowing what look you want is that not getting it, because you get frustrated because then I'm like, ugh, this isn't coming out the way that I want it to come out. And it's like, what didn't I do? Like, what could I have done so that it could have come out the way I wanted it to? And sometimes there's really not much you can do because, you know, a lot of the things are kind of uncontrollable. Like where we put the banner for like the Juneteenth sign, we put it against this like ugly concrete wall that kind of looked greenish in some angles, and it wasn't very flattering when people took photos in front of it, which I hadn't considered. So when I was shooting on that side, the photos came out almost kind of green, and it was hard kind of getting rid of that dull green look. Because there wasn't too much sun, I felt like the walls absorbed all of the sunlight and it just made it look kind of dull instead of like dreamy and lively and beautiful. And so that I couldn't really control, and then I had trouble with like where to stand for the photos. So I think I learned a lot, and I think for the next time I would more so do a lot of prep work pre-event and kind of figure out where the best photos would look like and where I do want to position myself to get the best pictures, instead of just kind of really winging it and going with the flow. Because if I had known that prior, maybe I would have planned things a little differently or stood a little differently. But I was doing a lot of testing in the moment, while I wanted to get what I wanted to get. So I got some very beautiful photos and then others that I wish I knew how to kind of figure it out in the moment a little better. That came out maybe a little too grainy, a little too noisy, which again, maybe there's not much I could have done, but the frustration was in that I didn't know my camera well enough in that moment to know what the smartest move was to get close to what I wanted. And then we ended up taking a photo inside the event space with like this beautiful LED big screen, and it had like Juneteenth and all these gorgeous colors. But then when I was taking the photo, I found that the people standing in front of that screen looked very dark, and I think the light from that LED screen made everyone else look really dark, and that felt really frustrating because in the moment, I didn't really know what to do to fix it. So I was just like turning up the EV, which I think is the exposure compensation wheel, where like it's on the camera. It's this one. Yeah, is it this one? Yeah, this one. So I was just turning this one up, and it kind of worked. It got people looking a little more brighter. So I'm still kind of learning what all these buttons mean, and like aperture, and shutter speed, and how they work together. And I think, and unfortunately, the way I'm learning is through my mistakes in real situations where I wish I didn't have to make those mistakes. So I think in the future, I'm going to plan to maybe play with lighting more when I'm outside. Maybe grab like a cup or like a stuffed animal or a person or a friend, and like have someone stand in different angles on different sides of the sun. So I start learning how to work with the sun, because I want to work with what I have, the light, because I think that's also the fun of it, like being outside and like working with what you do have and making something beautiful using the environment and the sunlight that you currently do have. Like I don't want to plan that too much. I want to learn how to work with the uncontrollable. So I'm learning that, and then also the settings and like playing with what works. So that was really tough. So I think what I'm trying to get at is I'm really learning how big the frustration is when you really see where you want to be, and you know where you want to be because there's examples and you have a good idea of what you want your art to look like, but then also coming back to the reality of like you're still learning and you're still a beginner, and there's a gap that exists that's going to close ever so slowly, that I'm currently in right now with photography, where I'm learning very slowly what everything means, and with that comes me understanding and accepting that I'm going to make mistakes and it's going to suck, but I'm going to take photos and I'm going to go home and I'm going to be like, damn, what could I have done to make it look the way I wanted it to look, and just be okay with that. And I'm trying to figure out a way to enjoy that process, that learning curve, because I feel like even when I do get to a place where things start looking pretty good, I think I'm always going to like have something where that I want. I'm always going to have a goal and somewhere I want to be despite where I am. So I think a lot of that has been on my mind this morning and last night, where I was literally spiraling. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so down on myself. Not because I'm disappointed. I know I did my best. I know I'm kind to myself. I wasn't being mean to myself. But I was just down. Like, I was just sad because I was like, oh my gosh, like these just didn't come out the way I really, really wanted them to. And there was just nothing, I didn't know. There was nothing I could have done because I didn't know what to expect. You know, you don't know what you don't know. And it sucked because it was like moments that won't happen again until like next year or something. And it sucks when you kind of wish you did things a little bit differently. But I know there's going to be more moments. And I messed around with my settings this morning. And I have a new camera setting vibe that I just fixed everything. And I got a better idea of what some things are now, and I have some shortcuts. So I'm going to have to test this out then, maybe this weekend or this week, and see how those come out, to see if they look a little better, even with the focusing stuff. So I'm going to do some more testing, and I think this is just going to be a journey of me just testing what works, and just making myself really comfortable with this camera. And I want it to feel like an extension of myself. I want to use a camera and have it feel like I'm not thinking. Like, I don't want to think about settings. I don't want to think about too much about like fiddling around with things. I just want to be able to get to a point where like I could just see something, know what I have to do, and just like take the photo, or just like switch something really fast and not waste too much time thinking, so I don't miss a moment that I want to capture. Because I think one of my strengths is that like I'm really good at seeing moments, even the little ones. Like I could walk from my apartment to the train station and maybe see like 5 moments I could have taken a photo of, just because I see little things, whether it be like the way the light hits the concrete a certain way, or like the way the tree looks up on the sky. Like I'm good at looking at color and seeing how the little things work, and having a good idea of like, ooh, I wish I could capture that on a photo. But I also don't have Zoom, so sometimes I can't really zoom in it's kind of more of a point and shoot. So in the future, I do also want to get a zoomed in lens so I could zoom into like the things that I see really well. So I know that I could see a photo in almost anything or every, like, really easily. So I think what I'm working on now is trying to figure out a good enough base of knowledge so that I can capture things as close as possible as to the way I either see it in real life or see it in my brain, my vision. So that was what I wanted to talk about. And it's funny because I was trying to explain my frustration to a few people, and it's hard when you're like, oh, like I just, these didn't come out the way I wanted it to come out. Like it didn't match my vision. And then I show people and they're like, oh, these are gorgeous. Like, what did you want it to come out? What was your vision? And it's hard to explain that because I feel like when I see how something looks in my head, it's hard to explain that if I don't have it in front of me. Like, I know what I want something to look like, but sometimes I just don't know how to say it. Like, if I have a photo, right? Like, I know I could see a photo and I'm like, this looks too green. It looks too blue. It looks too this. Like, I want it to be warm, but not like too yellow warm. I want it to be like a nice, beautiful, deep, but not too deep orange. And I know exactly what shade of orange I'm thinking about. And I know what places in the photo I want to be warmed and brought out and deepened, and what I don't. And I know what I want it to be toned down. Like, I almost wish that I can like just touch it, like paint and stuff like that. But I can't. It's like my skill level isn't there. So it's like I know parts of the photo I want to look like what. I'm just trying to get to a place where I could like, I know the tools to do what I want to do and get to what I want it to look like, which is really hard to explain to people because sometimes someone's like, oh, what do you want it to look like? I'm like, I can't explain it. I could explain to you the feeling that I want and like the colors and the vibe, but I can't really show you what I have in my brain unless I figure out how to do it, which is like the hard part because that's where my skill gap is. I can't show you because I don't have the skills to fully produce it. So this is exciting. It's fun. It's a challenge, and it's what's happening right now. And it's cool. It feels nice to feel passionate about something, and to really just want to grow in learning something. And I feel excited because I am really passionate about being really good at photography and learning it, and capturing moments the way it feels, and I want it in my brain and showing it to people. And there was just so many things going on in my brain yesterday in that event that when I came home, I just felt so exhausted and like sad and just like drained because I was like, oh my gosh, like I was doing a million things all at once. Like I was not only being a co-host for an event, making sure people were having a good time, making sure the vibe was okay, the energy, making sure people were comfortable, meeting new people, remembering people's names, making a good first impression, just like doing that, and then also capturing photos. It's hard balancing different skin tones in one photo. There were so many different skin tones and different colors of clothing, aside from just the light and the background and just like how colors come together. It was really hard, and like edit, like when I'm editing a photo, editing in a way where like everyone's skin looks beautiful, and I'm not like, making someone else look good, but then at the expense of someone else's not looking great. I want to make sure everyone looks beautiful. And I think a big thing for me when I'm taking photos and videos is I want to highlight the beauty in people, like people's natural beauty. I think photography is beautiful when it can enhance someone's natural beauty, where you could look at a photo and be like, oh, like this is me. Like I feel beautiful looking at this photo. And it doesn't feel like, oh, I look beautiful because someone edited it or because someone changed something. Like it just looks beautiful. It just highlights the natural beauty in someone, and just like the beautiful parts of people. Because I think sometimes when you look at someone, like anyone, there's moments where you're like, wow, in that like angle, in that second, you look beautiful, like a beautiful human. And I want to show you how much of a beautiful human you are. And I think with anyone, like I like the challenge of highlighting people's beauty. I think everyone's so beautiful. And sometimes it's hard for people to see that because maybe they don't know their angles. Maybe no one's been able to capture those parts in a nice way. So I feel like I want to show people the moments in which their beauty is really highlighted. And sometimes, like on the train, as an example, I'll see like the light hit someone's like the side of their head, and it's like glowing, like their hair is glowing, and it looks very gorgeous, like beautiful and like very dreamy. And it's just someone on their way to work, about to go on the train, but then that sunlight hits them so beautifully, and I'm like, oh, you would have never known how beautiful that sunlight is hitting you, and it's like making your silhouette look, because there's no one there to capture it. So you're gonna go on your day, you'll never know that. So I feel like I want to learn how to capture people's beauty and show it to them, and I think it helps people's confidence, because yeah, I think that's really cool. Because, I mean, I know my angles pretty well, and I've noticed over time that I could see people who are very attractive, just in general, maybe. And then I'm like, oh, like, that person maybe doesn't know how to take photos very well. Or maybe, like, I'll see someone, and I'm like, oh, their photos don't match them in real life. Because someone could look beautiful in real life, but maybe in photos, it just doesn't do them justice. It doesn't capture the essence of their beauty. And I've noticed that over time in my life with people where, like, sometimes people in real life and in photos look very different just because it doesn't capture it correctly. So I've thought about that for a long time, and how I would like to do the job of helping humans more accurately capture their beauty through a photo if I can. So I think about that too when I'm taking a photo. Like, I want to capture someone in like the most natural beauty. And also flattering skin tones, which is very difficult. I had a hard time doing that. I didn't want to make someone look too red, too green, too blue, too orange, too yellow, and just, it's hard to know that intuitively. I know my skin tone pretty well. I know people with my skin tone. That's pretty easy for me to color grade that. It's harder when it's like multiple skin tones, because I don't want to offend or make someone feel like I didn't accurately, they don't look accurate, and like I don't want people to feel good. So that's been really hard. I'm trying to figure out too. So yeah, that's just a whole lot of what I'm learning is really hard about photography. And yeah, so I think I'll get there over time and practice and a lot of testing shots. And it's not my fault. This is just part of the journey. And yeah, I'm watching a lot of videos, asking ChatGPT a lot, but I'm always open to advice and wisdom, and I kind of almost wish I had a mentor for many different things. But you know what? This is the fun of the game. I'm learning. I'm having a great time, and I do love photos. I feel this is so fun for me to do, and I'm excited to keep on this journey. So I just wanted to share how hard I'm discovering is the gap between your skill and your goals. And I saw a video a long time ago about a YouTuber talking about it, how she's like just always like on herself, because she's like, oh, like I want it to look this way, but her skill isn't reaching there. And I'm having that experience firsthand. So I don't know what I'm hoping you get out of this, but this was fun talking about it, and I think I needed to vent. And thank you for listening. And you know what? I'm just gonna show you, actually, on a brighter note, I'm going to show you some photos I'm really proud of that I have taken on this recently, that I was able to color grade or color correct, and I posted on the interwebs on Instagram. So I'll show you like all the photos I'm really proud of, and then I'll show you maybe the ones from the event. I don't know if I'm allowed to put pictures of coworkers. I don't want that. I don't know. It feels weird. So maybe I'll put that up. I don't know. But I'll do that. Oh, also, when I'm editing and color grading, I also don't want it to feel edited. I was telling this to someone because when I submitted the photos that I had taken yesterday to my coworker, I sent it last night at like 12. Because I wanted to see what it would come out, the way it would come out. And I think a lot of the things that I was like, oh, so hard on myself was that, like, I don't want photos to feel edited. Like I said before, I want it to feel natural. I want someone to look at a photo and just say, that's a gorgeous photo. I look so beautiful. Or that's just a beautiful scene, and just appreciate the beauty of what they're looking at. I don't want them to be distracted with the thought of, oh, that's edited. Or that looks unrealistic. Or is that how it really looked? Or is that like color edited? Like, I don't want the editing to be so noticeable that it distracts someone from enjoying a photo. I think similar can be said from when you're watching a movie. If you're watching a movie, you're not really thinking about like, whoa, the colors are like, the editing is so crazy, the camera, the way things are working. Unless like that's your profession or your hobby and like you're like me and you're hyper aware of that sort of thing. The average person isn't thinking about it. Like you're watching a movie and you're literally enjoying the movie. You're being like, wow, what a beautiful movie. What an awesome movie. It looks so good. The actors look great. Like people just look amazing. And you could just appreciate the way it looks. You're not thinking that there was someone who did that doesn't look realistic. So I think another thing when I'm doing photos is I don't want it to feel artificial. I want it to feel natural. And that was also part of the frustration because while I was like sort of fixing my photos, just in general, as I'm learning, I am always torn between like how much is too much editing, how much do I want to tone it down, how much do I want to tone it up, and finding that balance is really hard. And I'm slowly trying to like see what works for me and kind of just settle on that, and a lot of it is trial and error. So a lot of photos when I'm having a good time, when I'm just taking photos out in the streets, it is pretty stylized. I try not to over stylize it too much, but I try to find a style that works for me and that I like. So some of these photos are a little stylized in a very nice and subtle way, I hope, to capture that romanticization, that warmth, that good blues and orange tones that I love so much in that nice grainy filmy look that the Fujifilm is so good at. So there's a lot of that too. So yeah, I think that's it. And I'm just gonna probably end it off showing some photos. And yeah, actually, you want to look at some Pokemon cards? Maybe before we end it off, I'll show you some of my recent Pokemon cards that I picked up. Are you excited? Because I'm really excited. I got these with my friend a few weeks ago, and they were in my bag for a long time. And these are the first time, this is the first time I'm looking at it since I bought the cards. Because I just kind of bought it and left it in my bag. So let's remember what I bought together. Okay. Okay. Ooh, so first we got this gorgeous one. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's see what else we got. Ooh. This one. Gorgeous. Oops. Oh, I did buy this one. There was one that I wasn't sure if I had, and I guess I didn't have it. Alrighty. Gorgeous. And last one. Well, those are like the biggest, coolest ones. And that's it. I'm going to show you some photos and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. The nightmares, turning pages in my head to be certain how it really ends, 'cause you're right there. Are you right there? I know there's hope, even in the dark you glow. You'll come back, I was never in doubt. I'm still dreaming of you now. So